49 cents is all a single serving costs. This single piece of fruit is sold in virtually every supermarket across the United States. In fact, a published clinical study demonstrated that consuming it enhanced insulin sensitivity within merely 6 weeks. That superfood is the humble blueberry. However, prior to closing this video, assuming you possess all the facts regarding blueberries, you likely lack key knowledge because the vast majority consume them improperly and at improper hours, unknowingly neutralizing 70% of their therapeutic value. Furthermore, here is the alarming reality that ought to concern you. You currently have 7 common fruits resting on your kitchen counter. 3 among them actively assist your blood glucose management. Conversely, 4 of them are severely undermining it. Yet absolutely nobody, from your primary care physician to the nutritional label printed on the packaging, is informing you which category each falls into. Today, I intend to evaluate and rank all 7 from the absolute worst option to the very best. Occupying the 7th spot is the exact item countless older adults consume throughout the summer season under the impression that it is completely harmless. Meanwhile, the top spot explains how a patient named Doris managed to lower her A1C marker from 8.4 all the way down to 6.1 over 90 days. Surprised by the transformation, her endocrinologist inquired about what lifestyle adjustments she implemented. She simply replied, "A single fruit." He immediately noted it in her chart. My name is Dr. William, and today I will reveal precisely what Doris modified, the physiological mechanism behind her success, and which specific fruits you should eliminate right away. Prior to revealing our list, there are 2 crucial points to cover, and they carry far more weight than you might realize. If you are past age 60 and actively monitoring your glucose levels, consider subscribing to this channel. This platform was built specifically to deliver the detailed medical insights that a brief 12-minute clinic appointment simply cannot accommodate. After that, post a single word in the comments section identifying the specific fruit you consume most frequently throughout the week. I personally review these responses, and they direct the topics for my upcoming educational content. That is all there is to it. Now let us dive right into the core topic. Allow me to clarify why fruit consumption creates so much confusion for individuals attempting to manage their glycemic control. The underlying issue is that fruit cannot be categorized as a single uniform substance. It does not behave like dietary sodium, where higher intake is consistently detrimental and lower intake is invariably superior. Rather, you ought to view the produce aisle as a medicine chest. Certain bottles stored inside that cabinet promote metabolic healing. Other bottles within the collection actively worsen your physical condition. Additionally, a few options appear virtually identical from the exterior, yet their chemical compositions remain entirely distinct. Here is the precise biological reaction taking place within your organism whenever you consume fruit. The predominant form of carbohydrate present in fruit is fructose. Unlike glucose, fructose refrains from entering your systemic circulation directly. Instead, it follows a secondary pathway. It routes straight to your liver before heading anywhere else. Your liver must subsequently metabolize this compound. Provided it arrives in modest quantities alongside intact natural dietary fiber, your liver manages the load effectively. Consequently, circulating blood sugar remains remarkably steady. You experience neither an acute spike nor a subsequent crash. However, and this represents the critical detail most authorities omit, when you ingest fruit devoid of its natural fiber matrix, such as through juicing, blending, or selecting species naturally low in fiber and rich in simple sugars, that massive wave of fructose overpowers the liver. Overwhelmed, the organ shifts into overdrive. It immediately turns that surplus fructose straight into liver fat. Even more damaging, this cascade initiates a metabolic condition known as hepatic insulin resistance. At that stage, your liver ceases responding properly to circulating insulin signals. Furthermore, once the liver turns resistant to insulin action, your baseline morning fasting blood sugar climbs steadily upward, even during deep sleep or after a 12-hour fast. This physiological divide explains precisely why particular fruits enhance health while others trigger metabolic harm. Therefore, let us evaluate each of them in structured order. We will cover all 7, progressing from the most problematic to the most beneficial. As we proceed, maintain a mental inventory of which varieties are currently residing in your pantry, because by the conclusion of this discussion, you will likely feel compelled to reorganize your food choices. Coming in at number 7 is watermelon. This is the exact item I cautioned you against during the opening seconds of this presentation. It is the very choice millions of older adults gravitate toward every summertime under the assumption that it is benign due to its high fluid content. Indeed, it consists primarily of water sitting at approximately 92% total fluid. That very characteristic constitutes the hidden trap. Watermelon registers a high glycemic index value of roughly 76. To put that into clear perspective, that score surpasses a direct spoonful of pure refined table sugar. Furthermore, it contains virtually zero dietary fiber to buffer the digestive absorption process. As a result, enjoying a large, refreshing slice on a warm afternoon delivers sugar to your circulation almost as rapidly as drinking a sugary soda. While the fluid volume tricks you into believing it is harmless, your body registers a different reality. Your internal organ systems recognize the massive metabolic demand immediately. Watermelon should be treated strictly as a deliberate luxury, served as a few small pieces paired alongside raw nuts. It ought never to be consumed as a giant bowlful while relaxing outdoors. Consuming a large portion guarantees a severe glucose surge, which inevitably manifests as a profound energy crash an hour down the road. Ranking at number 6 is pineapple. Pineapple maintains an undeserved reputation as a health staple, largely attributable to its bromelain content. That compound represents a digestive enzyme frequently utilized to ease gastrointestinal discomfort and tissue inflammation. Herein lies the fundamental issue. Bromelain offers zero protective influence over your circulating blood glucose levels. Meanwhile, pineapple presents a relatively high glycemic index near 66, delivering a dense concentration of rapid carbohydrates accompanied by minimal fiber buffer. Selecting canned pineapple preserved in heavy syrup proves exponentially worse for your system. Consuming processed pineapple juice is worse yet, because extracting the natural fiber completely exposes the liver to the rapid fructose overload mentioned earlier. Fresh pineapple can be enjoyed safely under specific conditions. Limiting yourself to a couple of small bites following a whole food meal containing healthy fats and protein allows your body to digest it manageably. Under those balanced circumstances, your system processes the sugar without incident. However, eating pineapple by itself on an empty stomach acts as nothing more than a rapid sugar delivery vehicle wearing a tropical disguise. Taking the 5th position on our list is mango. Enthusiasts frequently label mango as the king of fruits, uttering the phrase as though it implies superior health qualities. A single average-sized mango contains approximately 45 grams of total sugar. That quantity exceeds the sugar content found in typical chocolate candy bars, while its glycemic index sits at approximately 60. Granted, mango supplies legitimate doses of essential vitamin C alongside beneficial carotenoid antioxidant pigments. Nevertheless, that heavy sugar concentration easily overshadows those nutritional perks for anyone actively managing glycemic health. Consequently, you should categorize mango strictly as an occasional dessert item. Enjoying a few razor-thin slices is perfectly acceptable. Conversely, dicing half a mango into your breakfast bowl will inevitably cause your glucose monitor readings to surge. Coming in at number 4 is the banana. This staple item rests on countertops in almost every home across the country. This specific entry is particularly revealing because the banana perfectly illustrates the core principle of today's lesson. A banana cannot be defined as a single static nutritional entity. Its chemical profile transforms continually as it ages. A firm banana displaying green tips remains packed with resistant starch. That substance represents a complex carbohydrate structure that your digestive enzymes fail to break down rapidly. Consequently, it moves through the digestive tract gradually and produces minimal impact on circulating blood sugar. However, as that same fruit ripens on your counter and develops brown spots, that beneficial resistant starch breaks down into simple sugars. A fully ripened, heavily spotted banana can see its glycemic index rise to approximately 62. It remains the exact same piece of fruit, yet it exerts a completely distinct physiological response just 3 days later. This brings us to the exact juncture where the majority of individuals make a crucial error. It mirrors the precise misstep commonly committed with blueberries, a topic we will address shortly. People frequently select the softest, sweetest, most heavily spotted banana, ingested entirely alone upon waking, and subsequently wonder why they experience tremors and intense hunger by mid-morning. Consuming half of a firm, green-tipped banana paired with a tablespoon of peanut butter or a hard-boiled egg represents a balanced dietary choice. On the other hand, eating a ripe brown banana completely solo early in the morning creates a sharp glucose spike followed by a guaranteed crash. Those comprise our 4 problematic selections. To recap, they are watermelon, pineapple, mango, and the overly ripened banana. These four items sit silently in your kitchen, actively sabotaging the precise health metrics you are working to optimize. Let us now transition to the three options that actively work in your favor. Securing the third spot is the apple. You have undoubtedly heard the old adage about eating an apple daily throughout your entire life. As it turns out, that traditional wisdom holds true, provided you follow one non-negotiable rule. You must leave the outer skin intact. The primary active component in an apple is pectin. Pectin represents a potent soluble fiber stored predominantly directly beneath the outer peel. Once ingested, pectin forms a viscous gel inside the digestive tract, slowing carbohydrate absorption down to a crawl. Furthermore, the peel houses the highest density of polyphenols, which are plant molecules shown to support stable insulin dynamics. Removing the skin effectively discards the natural medicine while retaining only the simple sugar. Processing the fruit into commercial applesauce or liquid juice creates an outcome even more detrimental than eating a peeled apple. Consuming an unpeeled, whole raw apple results in a remarkably low glycemic index rating of roughly 36. That figure ranks among the safest glycemic impact scores across our entire lineup. Choose to consume the fruit entirely intact. Be sure to eat the outer peel. That simple step covers the entire guidance. Holding the number 2 ranking is grapefruit. Grapefruit boasts the lowest glycemic index score of any item evaluated today, resting at approximately 25. It features a unique bioflavonoid known as naringenin. That bitter component responsible for grapefruit's characteristic flavor has been linked in research to enhanced cellular insulin sensitivity. Based on glycemic parameters alone, grapefruit approaches near perfection for glucose control. However, I must pause and issue a strict warning, as this specific fruit carries potential danger for certain individuals that has nothing to do with glycemic impact. Grapefruit compounds inhibit a key digestive enzyme in your intestinal tract known as CYP3A4. That enzyme is vital for metabolizing numerous widely prescribed pharmaceuticals, including various cholesterol-lowering statins and blood pressure treatments. Inactivating that enzyme through grapefruit intake can cause medication concentrations to accumulate in your circulation to unsafe levels. That interaction presents a serious clinical risk. Consequently, if you are currently taking statin medications or antihypertensive drugs, refrain from adding grapefruit to your regimen until consulting your pharmacist regarding potential contraindications. A brief telephone call is all that is required. Provided you do not take those specific prescriptions, grapefruit stands out as an exceptional metabolic choice. Consuming half a grapefruit sliced into whole segments during breakfast provides substantial benefits. Preparing it this way preserves the intact fiber, ensuring your glycemic response remains virtually untouched. That brings us directly to our top-ranked selection, the affordable 49-cent blueberry mentioned at the start. Here is precisely why it claims the ultimate position, alongside the reason most consumers unintentionally discard its health potential. The key therapeutic molecule inside blueberries is anthocyanin. That dark purple-blue pigment concentrated within the skin significantly improves cellular responsiveness to circulating insulin. Clinical studies have confirmed measurable improvements in insulin sensitivity within just 6 weeks using concentrated blueberry nutrients. Now, let us address the critical preparation error I promised to highlight earlier. The vast majority of consumers neutralize these health advantages before the nutrients ever reach their circulation. They routinely blend blueberries into liquid smoothies, which pulverizes the structural fiber and overwhelms the liver with fast fructose through the exact process detailed previously. Alternatively, they bake them into breakfast pastries loaded with refined flour and added sugars. Others sprinkle a small handful over bowls of processed, sugar-laden cereal. Under those circumstances, any metabolic benefit provided by the blueberries gets completely overpowered by the surrounding glucose spike. Following those habits effectively negates the vast majority of their physiological perks. In essence, you are keeping the container while washing the actual medicine down the drain. The correct strategy for consuming them is remarkably simple. Measure out half a cup of whole blueberries, whether fresh or frozen. Freezing does not degrade the anthocyanin content, provided you pair them with healthy proteins and fats to delay digestion. Consume them entirely whole, rather than blended, baked into baked goods, or hidden beneath processed cereal. Consider the real-world example of a patient named Doris. At age 64, she presented with an initial A1C reading of 8.4. For those unfamiliar with glycemic tracking, A1C reflects your average blood glucose over a 3-month window, and an 8.4 mark typically prompts physicians to recommend injectable insulin therapy. Just 90 days later, her lab work revealed an A1C of 6.1. Her specialist inquired what radical change she had made. Given that a shift of that magnitude usually requires pharmaceutical intervention, she simply answered, "A single fruit." Doris had simply adopted the habit of stirring half a cup of whole blueberries into unsweetened plain Greek yogurt every morning. The rich protein and fat matrix of the Greek yogurt significantly slowed gastric emptying. She avoided blended smoothies and sugary breakfast cereals entirely. Furthermore, she implemented one additional critical modification. She eliminated the morning glass of commercial orange juice she had consumed daily for 4 decades. That single juice habit had been secretly countering her dietary efforts every morning, whereas replacing it with a 49-cent serving of fresh whole berries paired with protein allowed her 3-month A1C to drop from 8.4 down to 6.1. Impressed, her physician noted the protocol in her medical file. Here is the precise action plan to follow starting this evening, so this information leads to real change rather than becoming another forgotten clip. First, inspect your kitchen pantry and locate the 4 problematic items: watermelon, pineapple, mango, and any bananas that have turned soft or heavily spotted. You do not need to discard them entirely. Instead, reframe them mentally, reclassifying them from everyday healthy snacks to occasional luxury treats. Consume them only in small portions directly after a balanced meal, never by themselves on an empty stomach. Second, starting tomorrow morning, enjoy half a cup of whole fresh or frozen blueberries paired with plain Greek yogurt or a small portion of raw nuts, ensuring they are eaten whole rather than blended into smoothies or placed over cereal. Third, if your refrigerator currently contains fruit juices like orange or apple, drink your final glass today and commit to making it your last. Commercial juice represents the absolute fastest way to sabotage all the dietary progress described today. Fourth, place whole, unpeeled apples in a visible bowl on your counter so you remember to eat them intact. Always remember that the outer peel contains the active beneficial nutrients. Fifth, and this is mandatory, if you take cholesterol statins or blood pressure medications, contact your pharmacist with a quick phone call prior to adding grapefruit to your routine. Never guess about drug interactions and never discontinue prescribed medication based on online content, including mine. Adjusting your fruit choices is straightforward. Navigating potential pharmaceutical interactions is what prevents unexpected hospitalizations. Here is the core message that should remain at the forefront of your mind. Doris altered precisely 2 morning habits to achieve her success. She incorporated whole blueberries while simultaneously dropping the daily orange juice she had consumed for 40 years. Eliminating that processed liquid carbohydrate was just as pivotal as adding the fresh berries. The beneficial fruits you add to your routine yield far less impact if you continue drinking liquid beverages that spike your blood sugar before breakfast even begins. That exact topic forms the focus of my next presentation, where I examine the 3 common morning beverages that silently elevate fasting glucose in adults over 60, alongside the 2 options that actively help lower it.